again. Turn to 5 people around you and tell them that you must be born again. It is a must. You must be born again. John is one of the brothers of Jesus. And of the 3 who are most loved by Jesus. He became a disciple of Jesus when Jesus called him to follow him. And in his writing, John portrays Jesus as the Son of Man. And that's why even Nicodemus told Jesus that you cannot perform these miracles unless you are born of God. And from the book of John, from chapter 1, John writes things giving us the examples of the Old Testament, and he portrays Jesus in the pictorial form for us to understand him. And in chapter 1, he begins by introducing how the world and how the Word became flesh. And in chapter 2, he gives us the first miracle that was done. And in chapter 3 now, he introduces a man who came to him. A man who came to Jesus when he really wanted to know who Jesus is. There are people who have come to church this morning when you have been having questions about who Jesus is. But again tonight, God is answering your question. Your life is not going to remain the same. Your life is not going to remain the same. It opens by a story. Now there was a man. That means the story is being told now. But the inside of the story is of a man who lived sometime. Or the story that happened sometime. And now, in Grace Community, we are reading that story now. You see how the writers are very interesting. They tell you a story that happened million years ago. But because they're introducing it now, they want you to put it in your now life so that it can work for you. You are living now, you are not living then when it was written. And so John introduces this story to us now. He wants this story to act in our lives now. He wants this story to change our lives now. He wants this story to deliver our lives now. John wants this story to motivate our lives now. So he's saying now there was a man of the Pharisees named Nicodemus, a member of the Jewish ruling council. In those days, people who were politicians. Is that true? Yes. Are you sure? Yes. You from which school? The politician is about the Boko. Which school? Masaba. Poko. In Uganda. In Rugisu. Oh, in Rugisu. Sorry, I forgot. Okay, the people who were politicians. Now you're feeling better. Okay. Lord, help me to feel good. Politicians of those days, in Jesus' time, in Jerusalem, in Jewish culture. They were Pharisees. Those were the greatest educated people. Very educated. They lived in high, expensive life. No one could reach them. They could live a life that everyone could admire but not reach them. And so Nicodemus, the history of the Jewish culture tells us that he was among the 3 richest people in his days. 3 richest people. Now if it is in Uganda, mention for me the first top 3 richest people in Uganda. You know them. Now those 3 people, in those days, one is Nicodemus. That one was rich. They were rich. They were the members of the Jewish council. All taxes collected were for them. If it is in Uganda, every tax that is collected through revenue could be diverted. They were rich. Not every man that is rich that knows the rules of richness. The people who are rich, sometimes they are scandalous. They are thieves. They are corrupt people. They get their wealth out of wrong hands. And people admire them. Others get rich because they ask riches from the devil. But Nicodemus' wealth was from the taxes that is collected from the poor people. Among the 3 richest people. Now in your village, who are the 3 richest people? Sign is you are doing if God were not with him. Nicodemus, being a ruler, he knows the principles of leadership. And he knows how people perform things to the leaders. And now he comes to Jesus at night. Why did he come at night? The Jewish people didn't accept Jesus' life and his teaching. Because they knew that there is no any other savior apart from Moses. Moses came, delivered the children of Israel from Egypt, and now there is no any other savior. And they knew that King David, who died, there is a prophecy that was going on, that there should be a son that comes from his lineage. And so they were still expecting for that person to come. Coming with the horses, coming with the chariots, and he was going to be the ruler of Israel. But then Jesus comes in a simple way, in a simple manner, teaching people, healing people, doing signs and miracles. He did not come with the chariots as they expected him. And so the Pharisees were the most monotheist people and the most educated people. Being rich, they were also educated. Those are the people who made the laws of Israel. Now they have put this law. That's why everything they performed was in the law. The law tells us that on Sunday on the Sabbath we should not work. The law tells us this: when your dog falls in the hole, you don't take it out on the Sabbath. They knew the law, has come to know about that, they will excommunicate you from the leadership. They will remove you from their council. And from that council was called the Sanhedrin. So people who lived on that council were the Sanhedrin. People who make the laws. People who could decide for others. That means that they had their constitution. They had their parliament. Now Nicodemus is coming to Jesus at night. What makes him to come at night? He never wanted his fellow council members to see him. But they have been grumbling and rumor-mongering and claiming in their council that we should take up the life of that man. Because he's changing people from listening to us. They want to listen to him. So we should excommunicate him. We should kill him. Now, as they were complaining and speaking about Jesus, Nicodemus really wanted to know, who is this man? As they were sleeping at night, he said, I will not sleep. I have to go and meet this man. And I have to make sure he answers my questions. The Bible does not tell us what time it was at night, but what it tells us that it was at night. And he went and said, Rabbi, we know. Who are the people knowing? Who are the plural? Who are the people behind Nicodemus? That's the curse of the Sanhedrin. They all know, but they don't believe. There are two things that some people should learn. You should know, you may know me as your pastor, but again you don't believe in what I do and what I say. But you really know that I'm your pastor. You may have a husband, you know he's your husband, but you don't believe in him and you don't believe in what he says. You have a wife, but you don't believe in that person, and you don't believe in what they say. And so Nicodemus and the council, they knew about Jesus, but they never believed in him. And now that's why I said, we know you are a teacher. How did they know that he's a teacher? Yet the Sadducees, the Sadducees and the Pharisees were the teachers of the law. But again they are saying that Jesus, they know him as a teacher. Why? Because Jesus, when he came, the Bible tells us that at the age of 6, he left his parents. Where did he go? He went to the teachers, to the rabbi school, and they taught him the law, and he graduated as the best student. So you could not make a law unless you have graduated as the best student. So Jesus also graduates, and he makes his own laws, breaking the laws of the Sadducees and the Pharisees. And so they recognized him as a teacher, not because he was born a teacher, but he qualified in the rabbi school. People, what's wrong with you? Of the law. Though they were the people who makes the law, but they knew that there is another teacher. They might be knowing that there is a Jesus, but you don't want to know that he's the one who does miracles. You may know him, but you don't understand his power. Oh, I pray this morning that as Nicodemus went to meet him, you also take your life to meet Jesus this morning. That you begin to know him, believing in him, understanding who he is in your life. Jesus did it. What rich people in Israel could not do, Jesus in his humility did it. And now he's so humble, coming to this teacher who comes from God to teach him things that he doesn't know. How I pray all politicians could be in church to be taught the things that the world doesn't teach them. How I pray that all professors, all educated people in this world would run to church and the teacher from heaven teaches them waliwo temusigala kyekiri bwamala okusomesa amakago tegasigala kyekiri bwamala okusomesa ebibadde bikukaabya akuwa solutioni yabyo ebibadde obusozi akuwa solutioni yabyo ebibadde byagaana alina engeri gyabikola ne bivaawo. Is the teacher who comes from God. Nicodemus recognizes him. Why? Because he done things that other teachers could not do. The teachers who were before him and the teachers of his generation could not teach and explain. They could not perform miracles like Jesus does. Some generation kubanga okkiriza okubeera ng'osomesebwa omusomesa oyo yava mu ggulu. Ebyensi ebintu byegenda okwemuuya ne bwe tagamba niina siizo nakulesa. Ebyensi ebintu byegenda okwemuuya obikola naye nga Katonda akusomesezza kubanga yalina omusomesa oyo. Oyo yava mu ggulu. Tomulaba Zakaliya ayogera n'agamba mu bunnabbi bwe nti si lwa maanyi si lwa buyinza wabula olw'omwoyo gwa Katonda. Bw'oba olina omwoyo oyo kubira Katonda engubesiona. N'ayongera mu lunyiriri olwokusatu olunyiriri olwo olunyiriri olwokubiri n'ayongera ekiro n'agamba for no one could perform the miraculous signs. Nobody. He was a rich man but his fellow rich people could not perform them. Yali magagga naye abagagga bana tabakola byamagezi. Kyogera mu bana b'omuganda nti obugagga bulina bye butakola. Gamba nti obugagga bulina bye butakola bulina wabukoma naye eriyo Katonda byakola. Wali mukubidde n'engalo. Obugagga bwogera bituli ku mitima. Obugagga bwogera bituli ku mitima naye Katonda oyo aziba ebituli ku mitima era n'okatulala okwemuuya. Obugagga tebugyawo obulema naye Katonda awonya abalema. Obugagga tebugyawo okusiba maaso naye Katonda awonya abo bonna abazibu. kulabyeko singa Katonda teyakuleeta. Sali kulabyeko singa Katonda teyakuleka ng'oli mulamu. Ebyoyo gyayagala ofe naye Katonda n'akulekawo. Ab'amasabo baayagala okukusadaaka naye Katonda n'akulekawo. Oli ekyo ky'oli kubanga oli kyamagero. You are the miracle of God. You are the miracle of God. Oli kyamagero. Oli kyamagero. Oli kyamagero. You are the miracle of God. Oli Katonda ng'aleza amaanyi. You are the miracle. Oli kyamagero. Katonda akwagala. Katonda akwagala. Katonda akwagala. You are the miracle of God. Ebyalema jjajjaawo Katonda agenda bikola mu sizoni. Ebyalema kojjaawo Katonda agenda bikola mu sizoni. Ebyalema kitaawo okukolera Katonda agenda bikola. Bwe wazaalibwa tebaalekawo kalina Katonda agenda kozesa okusiima ekyalo. Ojja kukola ebintu abantu beewuunye bagambe oyo mwana waani, nti oyo mwana wa gundi, nti kiki ekimukosa ebintu ebyo, nti anti yasomesebwa obusomesi oyo ava mu ggulu. Ekyenjawulo kyekyo. Muyinza ogenda Cambridge University, muyinza ogenda mu Yale University, musobola ogenda mu East African University, musobola ogenda Makerere University. Bonna be wasoma nabo ne bakuba emisota ku kyalo. Bw'ataatuuka na mu university n'okola bizinesi ate ne bagenda nga bebakozi. Ekikola enjawulo osomesebwa na Katonda. Kwama nti ayi Mukama nsomesa byonna bye mbadde simanyi. Yogera n'onga akyetaaga. Kwama nti ayi Mukama nsomesa byonna bye mbadde simanyi.